Hello YouTube, so this is the video that you've been waiting for if you're thinking about buying a Dacia Duster Bifuel or any of the Dacia range in Bifuel. No silly background music, not going to talk about the Duster itself as a car because there's 1,000 videos on the internet that do that. Just going to talk to you about the Bifuel, the important bits that you really want to know. So I picked this up yesterday. It's just completed its first proper run. I've just done 140 odd miles up the motorway. On gas for the first time, just done 34 miles per gallon on gas, and that's on a brand new engine, and that's averaging about 65 miles per hour, so not pushing my luck. I'm trying to sort of gently run it in. Quite pleased with that, given the fact that it is a brand new engine. As ever, in true YouTube style, I'm going to come to the really important bit right at the end. But first of all, let me just show you the bits and pieces on the outside. Nothing has changed on this model compared to any other one, apart from the flashy Bifuel badge that's right there on the back. Rest of it is exactly like a normal Duster. In the boot, obviously no spare wheel. You get a tyre filling kit, and we all know that those tyre inflation latex rubber kit things don't actually work. So that is a risk if you ever do get a puncture. You are going to be calling the RAC because those, as I say, those tyre inflation kits simply don't work. Let me come to filling up first, because it's a bit different than perhaps you might have seen on any other LPG car. So you get, when you get the car, this little bag. I've got some seat covers on, by the way, there, guys. These aren't on the proper Dacia seats. I've just popped some seat covers on to protect. And you get this little brass gubbins as an adapter, because Dacia make this car for sort of a basic fit out for the whole of Europe. So to fill with LPG, you need to unscrew this little cap, and it does unscrew, it doesn't pull out, and it's a little bit fiddly, especially when you're trying to do it one-handed. But you then screw this adapter in. There we are, we can get it in now. Let me hold the camera straight. Screw that in, just finger tight, and then you can attach the LPG pump onto the standard bayonet fitting. Did it yesterday for the first time, and not really had any problems at all. It was quite simple, really. So I'm sure I'll get better at that as time goes on. Just worth mentioning, on the bottom out there is a little rubber seal. I'm sure as time goes on that'll wear down and need replacing, but that hopefully isn't going to be for quite a while. So close that up. Let me show you the other thing that caused me some concern, and I just want to really reassure you about it as well. So let me show you under the engine bay, because when you hear about this car, you think it's got a 1 litre 3-cylinder engine in, and you think there is no way on God's earth that is gonna work in this car. It's just going to be completely gutless. Let me tell you, after just driving that distance, I'm really amazed with it. It has far more power than I thought it would. It certainly feels it's got sufficient amount of power. My wife's got a 2019 Prestige model with the 1.6 petrol engine in, non-turbocharged, and this feels quicker. This really does feel quicker. So I think the only real sort of big talking points on there, I've worked out, these are the LPG injectors. They're very quiet injectors. Again, I've had some LPG injectors in the past that have been quite tappety, and you can hear quite a loud click when it turns over. This was completely silent, completely seamless when it turned over onto gas. For those of us of a certain age that think that, you know, this size of car should only ever have a 2-litre engine in it or a 1600, forget all of that, guys. Honestly, go and test drive this thing. You'll be pleasantly surprised at the amount of power that engine chucks out. You really will. Let me now come to the most important part if you're thinking about buying one of these cars. So these have been on the market in the UK since 2020. The first range of cars that came out, the 2020 cars, only had a 5-speed gearbox. Now that's just not enough. The issue with that 5-speed box is when you sat there on the motorway, you're revving in excess of 3,000 RPM at 70 miles an hour. That just becomes expensive, it becomes unpleasant. So this latest 2021 model as you can just about see there, has got a 6-speed gearbox. Now when I'm doing 70 miles an hour on the motorway, I'm 2,550 RPM, which is a lot more quiet, a lot more relaxed. Really, that's a good place to be. So make sure if you're going to get one of these things, look, just invest a little bit of extra money. Go for the 2021 version, which has got the 6-speed gearbox on it. Don't go for the 5-speed gearbox, because if you do anything on the motorway, you'll be disappointed. The only other thing I'd like to point out, there's a little LPG gas controller. So that's gone down to 1 notch. The car's telling me I've got about 80 miles left to do on the amount of gas that I've got. Now these things are notoriously inaccurate. Again, anyone who's ever run LPG cars before will know that they're notoriously inaccurate. So I'm just going to go off the range the car tells me it's got, and see where we go from there, really. So look, if you've got any questions, then please get back to me. I'm happy to answer any questions. But hopefully I've waded through all the nonsense, not played any silly music, and answered the big questions that you might want to know. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for listening.